happen because Ares has free will. He can't control what Ares does. So he created a failsafe, which was Penitent, and the cultists of the void created discord, separated the Penitent's soul into half, blah, 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 blah. We reach this time period where the elves are being manipulated by Yaldabaoth again, and Yaldabaoth is like, yo, the humans are shit, we should rape them in the ass, make them our slaves, build our ultimate empire, like Nerevir was always supposed to be.
Pretty much they all knew.
But what,
Yeah.
But what they don't know is God was like, these motherfuckers are too sure of themselves, they have too much power, and they're gonna fuck up my plan. So he canceled the elf idea. That was his first plan. Creatures that were very connected to magic. And then he was like, no, that's too much connection to magic, so he made humans. It was a little bit of connection to magic, but they needed to be really intelligent to do so. And that's where we get wizards and shit. And so in the whole grand scheme of things, Nerevir does not take place within any timeline because Reaper himself was like, I really like this world, I'ma separate it. And then he created Ares to defy Zedra's plans so that Reaper could take the place of Zedra and become God. But then Ares is like, Reaper's kind of corrupt right now. He's kind of going nuts from all his experiences. And Ares is like, you know what? I got a plan. I think it'll work. I'm going to bring about true paradise. It's going to happen. But that's far in the future. After he meets a lot of people, he goes through a lot of things. He has his trials and his tribulations. And pretty much right now, we're at the start of that. When Ares is just learning himself yet again. Because he's gone through this twice before. Where his first life, he started realizing that he was meant for more. And at the end of his life, when he started dying, he felt this energy where it was like, I know when I'm going to come back, and it's going to be when you need me most. And then the people of Masseria, they traveled north, they found their land, and Ares was like, this is where you need to be, and then he died. And then about 200, 300 years later, Ares II was born, and that was when the Oblivion settlers came in, and they're like, we have been lost from our home for several hundred days, and we have low supplies and low rations because it was just supposed to be a simple voyage, but we got off course, and now we're here in this strange land. And they try to settle. And then the king of Masseria at the time, Frederick Hendrik, he is a fucked up name, and I hate him, but that's because I created him, and I hate him to create him, and I created him to hate him. And he's like, the Oblivions, they do not deserve to settle here. If they settle where they settle, the elves will be all like, that's not okay. They will try and fight with us because that middle ground with the Oblivion fields. And then the Remodian settlers from Remodia, which is similar to the name Romeo, which is a hint to Romeo's universe.
No shit.
Yeah. And they came over and they slipped through a little portal in time-space. They ended up in Nerevir, and they made the land of Oblivion. But then the Massarians, because they had a corrupt leader, was like, fuck off. You can't settle there because you're going to stir up problems with the people we used to have problems with. And they're like, no, we need a place to settle or else we're going to die. And they're like...
Okay, stop with that voice.
Okay, so the Massarians and Remodian settlers battled for about 50 years. And it's really fucked up. They fucking just tear each other apart and decrease their numbers a lot. And then when they finally start to get settled, the elves start to attack because the King Hendrik was right. If the Oblivion settled there, it would upset the elves because that was like the border of their lands. And humans appearing on the border of their lands upset them. And they settled at this dormant volcano called Cheenys, not Cheenys. And that is their home city. And after that, they built a port town called New Roxani, and that's actually the last place the Oblivions lose when the elves are starting their march against humanity, where they're just taking shit back over, because they used to actually control the whole continent. But they lost that control when Reaper split the world from reality. It's a complicated story, and it's told throughout it. But right now, where we are, the elves at the country that are attacking the Massarians are weak because they don't have a lot of backup. But they believe that the lands north of them are theirs and that the humans just are pests. And blah, 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 blah. Wherever the fuck we are.
is where we are.
Has tried to